Hi, Professor. Or whoever's grading this, my name is Ariel Demond, and I'm currently a 7th and 8th grade English language arts teacher at a local middle school here in Columbus, Georgia. I've been teaching English for the past 7 years at Muskogee County School District, and I'm excited to be here. I've actually been excited to record this video also because I've been taking a few notes over the chapters that we were reading in class. I think that Barbara and Lynn did a wonderful job for every teacher and leader because it's something that I see inside of my school a lot, and I believe that me earning this degree will help me get one step closer to being able to, I guess, execute all the tactics that Barbara had included inside of the book for my fellow peers, whether I decide to stay there at the school or move on to a different school. So, just getting into the questions. Thank you, Professor, again for the video. It kind of gave me a little bit of insight of what I needed to be looking for. So, we can go ahead and hop straight into it. So, Professor's first question was, looking at the skills on page 5, what are the top 2 skills, in my opinion, that a teacher should possess? This was a hard decision for me. I wanted to pick 4, but I went ahead and chose 2. So the first one is problem solving, and the second one is listening. So I did include communication with that also because I feel like listening and communication kind of go hand in hand. But as for problem solving, I think that us as teachers, we have to be problem solvers. Something that my principal always has told us is that we're the principal of our classroom. So with that being said, principals do a lot of troubleshooting and figure things out, and they're in charge of technically everybody in the building during the school day. So I think problem solving is a big thing for us to do because the problem is that students may not be understanding the curriculum that's put forth in class, and we have to be the problem solver. So we have to put forth activities and tiering them in different groups and being able to plan out our lesson in order to accommodate their problem and solve it. So I think that us as teachers, we have to be problem solvers along with guiding misbehavior and students not understanding the content, student putting 23 students in a room and they're not getting along. We have to be the problem solvers. And so as for listening and communication, I think that we have to listen. We can't solely communicate and we can't solely speak our minds. We have to first listen in order to be able to communicate. So we have to have an open ear. And I think me being a teacher, I've seen students and teachers in so many different scenarios in my life. And, it has allowed me to have a more open mindset. So I think listening and communication would be a very great skill to have in order for you to be a great teacher because you have to listen to the problem in order to communicate a solution. So, all right, so the second question that Professor had was, what are the top 2 dispositions a teacher leader needs to possess and why? So for the first one, I said consistency, and the next one is being a caring leader. So how can we improve, or how can we be considered a leader if we're not consistent in our practices? There's no way that we can do great one week and then the next 2 weeks we're declining in our performance, or we do great the next 3 days and the next 2 days we're back doing the same thing. And a leader needs to have consistency. So whether that's consistency coming into the classrooms to help the teachers out, or consistency with making sure everyone is all right and making sure everyone is on point and making sure everyone's submitting their plans, or being consistent as a leader, being consistent as assistants for the teachers who are in need. Or what about those induction teachers? It's their first 3 years teaching. We have to be consistent in order to send them off to be past the induction stage. As for caring, if you don't care about something, you're not going to put forth your best foot. You're not going to put forth your best effort if you don't care about something. If I didn't care about teaching, I would have been quit a long time ago. If I didn't care about my students, I would have no desire to ensure that they understood the material and passed the milestones at the end of the year. So I think caring is a major thing. Sometimes you do have to bring your feelings into this position. Into this profession. You do have to bring your feelings into it. Sometimes emotions come into this profession because some of us are so adamant about our students learning. Some of us are very passionate about our students. So I think the ones that are passionate are the ones who are going to put forth their best foot. So I think consistency and being caring are 2 big dispositions for teacher leaders to have. All right, so moving on to chapter 2, page 30 and 31. Professor was asking the top 2 ways to reward teachers. So this was my favorite chapter because reading through it, I'm thinking, did our teacher leaders, did our academic instructors like purchase this book and read it? Because a lot of the things that they were recommending is what they already do at our school. But I did choose my top 2. I said acceptance of ideas and peer to peer recognition. So, if you really feel like a teacher is doing great, you'll accept their ideas and kind of consider it. And it may not be exactly what you feel as a leader it should be, or something that could benefit the school directly, but you could accept their idea and kind of transform it and tweak it into something that can benefit everybody as a whole. So, I think that's a really good way to reward teacher leaders. Just accepting their ideas and listening to them in our common planning meetings, and integrating the ideas to kind of tie into the school's rules and routine. Another thing I think is cool is peer to peer recognition. So it's something that we do at our school. We have a I guess you could say it's kind of like a Google form that's sent out, or Microsoft form. And whenever we see a teacher do something good, or we want to recognize them, or we want to give them their flowers for something that they do well, the other teachers will go in there and type in something they've been doing good and give them coins or points. And we have a system called Critter Coins. So the teachers will go in and give other teachers critter coins and say, okay, this teacher has been doing this, or this teacher did a great job with doing this, or I walked in this teacher's class just to maybe grab some paper and they were doing this with their students. So I want to recognize them for just doing such a great job. So, towards throughout the year, they'll be giving out different rewards, like we can purchase a Gene Day with our credit coins, or we can buy our way out of work early, or we can buy our way out of lunch duty with our credit coins. So we're able to reward our peers with different credit coins. So I think that's a cool idea. For the last question, I'm sorry the video is kind of long, Professor, but this 2 chapters kind of tied into my lifestyle. But how important is it in your opinion for teacher leaders to have a good relationship with the principal? If you were to ask some of my peers that question, a lot of them would maybe say not that important, but in my opinion, I feel like it's extremely important to have a good relationship with the principal. I know that it's a profession, and they like to say as long as you're doing your job, but I think being on that level with the principal, and I'm not sure if I said professor, I meant to say principal, but being on that level with the principal, I guess you could say professionally and ethically, I think that kind of shifts the mood or shifts the atmosphere when you have a very good relationship with your principal and you're not just going through the motions. You want to be somebody that your principal can depend on, that can help you get further in your career. It is not more like a I like you or I don't like you type thing. It's more of a, are you a very dependent person? Are you a person who I can call on if I need help with the student? Or are you a teacher who I can sit a student in your room for their downtime, or they need to chill out time, or a disciplinary action? Can I depend on you to let a student sit in there? Can I depend on you to ensure that your students get to a certain place on time, or you're doing what you're supposed to do inside your classroom? I think that it's more of a dependent piece, and it's more of a trustworthy thing that you should have with the principal, not a going out for tacos on a weekend type thing. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to um dependency. Can your principal depend on you to get the job done? My name is Ariel. I'm very excited to be here, and thank you for listening to my response. Have a great evening.